It's okay, furries. I accept you. Y'all are very chill, nice people. He's a walking red flag. I will personally go to your house and fucking cut your ball. Hi, I'm back from the grave. And I've arisen by the sheer power of delicious men. And I know nobody ever asked for this, but I've been thinking, my God, these sexy ass characters are all over the internet. And I don't know about you, but I think we're all thinking the same thing. And it's, why is every single character in this roster so fucking sexy? I mean, this game has taken the world by storm. If you thought Overwatch was sexy, oh boy, let me put you onto something a little different. A wider catalog with multiple spandex covered options and array of hotness. So I think that it's time to get a little nasty, time to get a little flickergoony. Just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out on this, because today we're ranking the Marvel Rivals boys by boyfriend ability. So let's get into it. Huge disclaimer, this video is for people who are attracted to men, or for people who just want to window shop, so eat your fill, you dirty motherfuckers. There is unfortunately a huge lack of character lore for these boys within the world, so we just have to go off of what we already know about them from the comics. So don't put me on a stake for this. Don't fucking do this to me, okay? I'm doing my best. I did my best. You know the fucking abysmal amount of research it took to fucking put this together? Be kind to me, please. Jeff the Land Shark. I hate that some of you have actually gone and sexualized this character online, and I just want to... Bro, stop! That's an animal! Es un animal enfermo. He's an animal, not dateable, off limits. He's a little guy, and if you touch him, I will personally go to your house and fucking cut your ball. Groot. Okay, I know what we're all thinking collectively. It's what those branches do. Just kidding, nobody ever thought that. I didn't think that, but may I remind you about splinters and not just the undeniable fact that this guy is a literal plant, and plants to my knowledge are asexual. Also, the guy's just like a bro. He's just a bro. However, his nature suggests that he's capable of forming deep emotional bonds. Groot is kind. He's caring. He's protective, especially towards his friends like Rocket and the Guardians. And I mean, he's only got 3 words in his lexicon, but his actions speak louder than words. And he shows affection and loyalty in his own way. I just don't think that he's dateable. That's all. Sorry about that, you fucking tree fuckers. Fuck you. Groot is gonna go on D in front of Jeff because he's a little more humanoid. He's not pet status, he's friend status, he's bro status. Rocket Raccoon. And the furries come running. It's okay. It's okay, furries. I accept you. Y'all are very chill, nice people. Except for the ones with the diapers. But listen to me, dude. This is where we're gonna have a literal debate. Rocket is, take a moment. Take a moment. He's an animal. He's an animal. Wait. Despite him being an animal, he gets it on with the alien chicks. Look at this. Look at this right now. He's got appeal. And I think Rocket would be down to be in a relationship with a humanoid based on some of this evidence, but it just rubs me the wrong way, dude. Because to an alien girl, this guy comes into the bar with a sarcastic attitude, a gravelly voice, and a fucking alpha aura that you can sense like 5 miles in radius. And you'd be like, that's an attractive fella. That's a goddamn attractive creature. Let me hit that. But to a human woman like me, I am a human woman that knows that this is an actual animal on this planet, that knows what that animal looks like. If I say bangable, then I'd just be a zoophile. And I mean, we can't have these allegations. I'm gonna have to put Rocket Raccoon on D tier in front of Groot because he is verbal. Would be a good friend, would be a good roommate, would be great. It would be amazing. Loki. This is where I'm gonna talk for f***ing ever, dude, okay? Oh, Loki! I'm very weak for this man, this deliciously yummy, beautiful man. And over the many years of devotion to this singular character, I've analyzed him. I've found his tells, I've looked at his flaws, I've read more fanfics than you could ever fucking imagine because I love him. I actually ran through Times Square barefoot just to be able to see Tom Hiddleston in person because I'm fucking crazy. I like characters with a lot of layers, you know? And Loki's got layers. So moving on, Loki is the one that every girl is obsessed with. I just have to burst the bubble, and I'm terribly sorry, but We all want to romanticize Loki as a partner, but if we've seen anything about Loki, is that he is not a fucking green flag, dude. He's a walking red flag. Loki is like communism. Looks wonderful on paper, but when you actually take a good long look at his character, you start to see why he would just be so wrong for you. He's cunning, he's intelligent, but he's fucking nuts, he's fucking insane. Trae un tornillo botado el güey. Put simply, he's too traumatized. His only healthy way of coping is by relying only on himself, which has led him to suffer from something called narcissism. He has spent a lifetime proving that he is cleverer, more cunning, more worthy than anybody ever gave him credit for because he has daddy issues. And that doesn't just switch off because he's in a relationship. So this is where the problems begin. Loki wants you to be devoted to him. He craves it even, but only on his terms. He adores praise, but if you outshine him, if you command too much attention, you might find him growing distant because that's just the person he is. He's also the type to test you, seeing if you will chase him. He has spent a whole lifetime convincing himself that he does not need love and that he is better off alone. In a way, we're gonna get poetic here, like untethered by weakness, and yet he craves it more than anything. The difference is that he will not beg for it. He won't ask for it either. And also, let's be real here. There's always a chance he might just want to use you for his own benefit and end up betraying you. There's so much here. He always goes back to himself at the end of the day. Will he overcome himself for you? People always have this like savior complex. We think that we can change another person for the better. But you know, and I know, and you know that when you've tried to change someone's habits to better fit a relationship, it never works because people don't change. And that's not how life works, bitch. We're all traumatized out here. Also, doubting that he'd even be interested. I mean, if we've learned anything from the show, it's that he fell in love with himself because he's a narcissist. I would risk it for the biscuit, 1000%, just because it's Loki and I can fix him. Thank you. I'm gonna put Loki on C tier. Just because he's actually factually evil. He's actually factually trying to take over Asgard. He's actually factually really slippery, slimy, disgusting. Even though we love him, even though he's the greatest, he goes on C. Moon Knight. Dude, there's so many characters with alternate personalities in this, holy shit. So, Mooney is a little bit of an interesting one. We gotta address the elephant in the room. Unlike the other heroes, this guy was chosen as the Moon Knight and the vessel of Khonshu or whatever. And honestly, I'm so tired of trying to love emotionally unavailable men. I mean, this guy shifts personalities. It's not his fault either, but between his religious escapades of justice and a relationship, there's the fucking door. I need to get away. Masks are hot though, definitely, yeah, 100%, but for one moment, let's put our raging hormones aside and stop thinking about Oscar Isaac's beautiful face. Okay, objectively, would this guy be the best husband type? But think about it. Yes, he may try, but damn, if you have to adjust to loving actual multiple personalities, that's a lot. Not to say that people with DID are non-deserving of stable relationships, that's not at all, but it's just not my cup of tea. I can barely deal with one man. This isn't just two men like Venom or Hulk, it's more people in the comic. And with that, I've had more than enough in that department, and I would just be overwhelmed. So would he be a good boyfriend? He's probably a devoted and strong partner, but it's just too much for me. It's just too much for me. Moon Knight is gonna go on C because he's just fucking deranged. I'm trying to avoid the fucking heat. Magneto. Delph. This guy is a little morally gray. Magneto is emotionally distant at first, mainly because he's so consumed by his greater cause. Like a lot of these other heroes, this guy's got mutant rights and the survival of his people to take care of, so he doesn't always prioritize emotional connection. His obsession with his mission means that he might neglect his partner in favor of his bigger goals, and that's a huge challenge in any relationship. He's used to being a leader and making decisions for the greater good of humanity, so he may sometimes come off as a little bit overbearing or even controlling, and it doesn't feel like an easygoing relationship like one you can breathe in. Which, girl, just walk the f away. His priorities are well established. We have no business being with emotionally unavailable men. Period. Magneto is going on C. Punisher. The Punisher is a hard ass. He's had a stick up his ass for a long time. It's been buried deep into his asshole for far too long. That stick is called trauma, and it's a bitch to get out. So let's figure out why it's way, way, way up there, and so that you can consider your options. Frank is a deeply troubled man with a light Yagami-like complex. Basically, as a general origin story, he lost his family to a mob hit gone wrong. So he took it upon himself to hunt those motherfuckers down and sort of became addicted to it and decided to hunt every bad person ever after that. He often fills his days with what normal, sane people do, and that's defying the justice system. Just like any other regular human would, he murders people, but here's a catch, it's only bad people. So from in-game interactions, Punisher is always sporting that stick up his ass in various levels and showing it off to his other teammates by literally being so hell-bent on murder that people are literally so stressed out by him. He is so focused on killing people and waging a war on crime, but would he be willing to take care of you? Those red flags he's got all over him, maybe he's a lover. Honestly, I just personally, just knowing what I know about him, he, to me, is a smash and dash kind of guy. He literally is in this one panel, he's fantasizing about his dead wife while you're giving him the delicioso. So do with that information as you will. I don't really want to be an outlet for that sort of grief. Would he be a good boyfriend? Nope, I don't think so. I think he's too focused on murder and the perfume of his dead wife to really give you all of that loving, but I do say that if you were able to be his honey, he would be so protective of you in every aspect for fear of losing you too. It's so fucking sad. The Punisher is going to go on B tier because he can smash, but he's not ready to undertake the weight of an actual emotional bond with a human woman that isn't his dead wife. Venom. You know what I'm about to say. You want two at the same time? Cool, awesome, amazing. What about two at the same time on the same man? I mean, so if y'all are not filled in on the general backstory, he used to have Peter Parker living in his head rent-free, which means that he was solely driven by revenge, and that's what got the symbiote to form such a great attachment to our boy Eddie. Besides that, Eddie without Venom is a little more insecure, but with Venom at his side, he finds a sort of greater purpose in his life. Of course, there's Eddie, and there's Venom. They cannot be separated. So, you know, you're gonna have a constant third wheel, but I mean, some people are into that. There's a slightly poly element here. Venom would have to like you as well for this to work, and we know he's a bit picky with stuff. So if you hit a score there with him, things would be smooth sailing. We're going back to this. Eddie is one person, and Venom is another, right? We can deal with one man, but can we deal with two? I don't know, ask yourselves that today. Even away from the gender binary, can we deal with two partners at once? Some people can. Kudos to you. I would risk it all for the 19 inches of Venom, but would I be emotionally fulfilled in the process? I mean, it's up to whoever. My first note of this was good for a lay, not great for a relationship. He's not healed enough for the long-term treatment. He tends to fall into periods of addiction, and that's just, I'm just exhausted, like, talking about all the fucking baggage. Like, I don't find it particularly attractive. So would he be a good boyfriend? Mid if you're willing to put up with the lacking emotional connection, but if you're really into that symbiote dick, I mean, girl, go get it. Do whatever you want. Venom was tricky to place, but he's going on B because we have to respect the 19 inches of Venom. Cloak without dagger. These two, man, I really had to think about this one because these two are cosmically intertwined, connected, light and dark. How would this even fucking work? Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is that you're never gonna be more important to him than she is. He's got the power of darkness, she's got the power of light, and you've got the power of being the cuck that gets third wheeled. According to the Marvel Rivals lore website, they can be nearly inseparable, right? They constantly flip from being romantic and being besties. I feel like the whole cosmic connection thing these two have going on, you're never going to be able to fill that slot for him, as she is the most important person in his life. Also, the trust issues would be fucking compromised because your partner is literally conjoined with the most fucking beautiful woman on the planet. It's not her fault. They didn't choose this. That would make your relationship a living hell and cause so many issues. And we've all seen the girl best friend, and that shit is mentally and emotionally draining. So would he be a good boyfriend to you? I mean, if you can get some alone time, maybe, and you can get past the whole emo getup, but the stress is not fucking worth it, dude. Not even talking about his character at this point because I hate the idea of this. This is a bi person's dream, but it's not my dream. Cloak is an undisputed be in front of Venom though, because he's not as problematic. It's just a matter of the fact that he's always got his girl right there. And I feel like that's the biggest factor that takes me away from putting him any higher. Human Torch. Johnny Storm. He's got a playboy reputation. That's one of his biggest defining traits, especially in his earlier years. As the charismatic and confident member of the Fantastic Four, Johnny is known for his charming personality and the fact that he never seems to stay single for long. He's the kind of guy who loves the attention and flirts with a lot of ease, which makes them extremely dangerous, but who's to say people don't change and mature over the years? Because supposedly, allegedly, he has. As Johnny matured, particularly as a member of the Fantastic Four, he began to grow out from his self-centered ways. He still enjoyed the thrill of being a superhero, but he began to realize the importance of teamwork and responsibility, dude. That takes a lot. And a partner who is capable of change? Where have you ever seen that before? Because that shit is rare. Green flags all around for that. So upon further inspection, the Human Torch is actually a fucking player, and he flirts with anything that moves, anything and everything that moves. So this guy is just such a player, such a cocky, sleazy fucking player, and I just can't deal with that. And would always be looking around. In Spanish, we have a phrase that describes it. It's called ojo alegre, which means happy eye, which means that your eye is always looking at other people, and that's exactly what I feel describes the Human Torch. Namor. I'm not saying Namor, motherfuckers. We all watched The Shape of Water, and we all approved of The Fishman. This is actually one of my favorite movies. Now take a look at this Fishman. Appealing. Sexy. I like it. Why is every man in this lineup so fucking fine? And the best part is, his motherfucking toes are out. Like, why does Marvel do this to us? He's too fucking irresistible, dog. King of this pussy. You get it? Pussy. So Namor, my Mexican king, my Mexican brother, he's proud, impulsive, like a good Mexican. These are not great things. His confidence and royal status give him a sense of superiority, making him demanding and hard to please. He also has an intense fucking temper, which can lead to dramatic confrontations. And even in the comics, he flirts with Sue Storm, who, as you know, is fucking taken and married. So I would have some incredible fucking trust issues there. I don't know, Namor. Everything else I could have been like, fine, overlooked, fine. But this one, dog, I need to step away. And listen, he's repping Mexico. He's out here doing, royal shit in Mexico. He's, paisano, whatever. But I would not date him. I would not date him. Namor goes on B because he flirts with married women. It's just a matter of him not respecting other people's boundaries that I'm concerned with, that he's just a little bit loose up there. Bucky Barnes. I say Bucky Barnes and all the girlies collectively just, they swoon, they sigh. And aren't they right? He's literally Sebastian Stan in the MCU and serves all kinds of brooding, sad boy energy. And we just want to see him happy. We want to see him smile. Bucky Barnes is a slow burn romance from AO3, and you know it. It would take forever to peel back all the layers, but he is just the most handsome boy wrapped in a grumpy, brooding, emotionally constipated package. Also, can we mention that he's a boomer? The Greatest Generation refers to Americans born roughly between 1901 and 1924. I don't know. I feel like Bucky would give boomer humor in a way, which is maybe worse and is also terrifying. Also, I kind of play as this guy, so I know you hate me. I love him. He's great. But hold up, before we go any further, I'm realizing now that most of these characters are deeply just traumatized. Bucky's story. And I think it's fair to say that he isn't the most emotionally available person on the planet, mostly because he's still figuring out how to be a person again. He spent decades being used as a tool, and now he's supposed to do normal things like date. I mean, guys, no. He would be so lost when it comes to that, I feel. Even now, when he's clawed back his way back to himself, he still struggles with the weight of his own existence.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
He's quiet, he's guarded always, just carrying, this unspoken fear that what Hydra made him will come back. And that seeps into relationships, whether he wants it to or not. So, would he be a good boyfriend? I mean, I just think he's very emotionally unavailable, really. And helping somebody who's that emotionally guarded has to be a whole ass challenge. But honestly, I would let him go again. I would let him go again on me over and over if he wanted to. Because, damn. Bucky, the Winter Soldier, goes on B because although emotionally unavailable, very nice person, caring, has a softer side there to him. It's wholesome. It's nice. Even though I don't think he's ready for a relationship, I don't think that if you were to break down the walls, it would be that bad. Wolverine. Logan, the man that makes us all feral because he is feral. We love an angry short king. He's caring, committed. He would go to the ends of the earth for you, but we're not addressing a little problem. One little teeny tiny little problem. A problem called immortality. It's like Edward Cullen all over again. Logan doesn't age like the rest of us, and he heals from pretty much everything. That means that he's watched everyone he's ever loved grow old and die while he stays the same. It weighs on him. It makes him hesitant to let himself love again because he knows exactly how it's gonna end. If he lets you in, it means he's willing to take that pain again, which is wholesome shit, but there's always a but. There's always a but. It would be really difficult. Of course, being with Logan also means dealing with his past, and his past is a lot. He's been in wars, experimented on, brainwashed. It's not even baggage at that point. It's checked in at an international airport, and the bag is overweight, so you have to pay more. You catch my drift. This guy's like, he's got a lot. It isn't for the weak. Being someone who's reactive like that because of so much trauma can be really stressful. He's just angry. He's angry dog, dude. But he's a committed bitch, though. His relationship with Jean Grey proves that. So would he be a good boyfriend? I don't think so. I really don't. I really want to as well, but I don't think that it's worth it here. It's just the never aging bit, bro. Do you want your loved one to never age? Logan goes on B. He's a nice person. He's got a soft heart, soft mushy, even though he is emotionally unavailable. I don't think it would be impossible. Doctor Strange. First, god damn! He might look like he is the most well put together, perfect catch, but allow me to do the zapateado all over your conceived notions because Stephen Strange is a man with baggage. The type of like, I have seen infinite timelines and watched myself fail in most of them kind of baggage. He's the man who carries the weight of the multiverse on his shoulders, which makes being emotionally intimate a little tricky. He spent so much of his life chasing knowledge and power that sometimes he forgets how to be with someone. He, as a person now, prioritizes his work above everything else. After the accident, he took his workaholic habits from Grey's Anatomy over to Hogwarts and sailed from there. It's no secret why his relationship with Christine failed. He's capable of caring deeply. He just didn't always know how to show it, which I feel like reflects on so much of his character as a whole. Because in other timelines, when he realized he could change the outcome of his separation from Christine, he did everything he could to keep the love of his life, which shows that he's willing to do anything for that love he felt. But here, motherfucker, he only did that when it was too late. So, boyfriend, he's married to his work, not married to you, but god damn the salt and pepper. He's just too damn fine. I don't know how the fuck and made me scream without the S. Doctor Strange goes on B because he is more married to his work. Doctor Strange is a S-tier DILF man. You know, the true ranking will never be released. Hulk. BPD but green, okay? So Marvel Rivals, this version of Bruce Banner has learned to control the Hulk. This one gives... I don't know why they decided to give him Discord mod energy, but damn, it's a shame because this Bruce Banner is a lot more sensitive, a lot more nervous, and his Hulk side is a little more conscious than the stereotypical Hulk. He's got a little bit more personality besides Hulk smash, but the question is, are you gonna smash the Hulk? While Bruce is kind and deeply caring, his intellectual side sometimes alienates him from others, so he often retreats back into his work as a form of escape. And as we know, Bruce has tried to be in relationships in the past. At his core, he wants affection, he wants love, he wants acceptance. He craves a normal life, one where he doesn't have to hide his true self or be afraid of a person not accepting both sides of him. So he might estrange himself a bit from romance and focus on his work way more. So would he be a good partner? I mean, you know what I'm thinking, right? I mean, it's right there, dude. Like, I like brainy twinks. I like beefy dudes. With him, you get the best of both worlds, if you know what I mean. Let's just consider that if you're willing to put aside the fact that he consumes himself and his work, there's potential here. Just like Venom, except that both of them are the same, and this dude is a little bit more level in my opinion. Bruce Banner, the Hulk goes on B because he's nice and everything. He's just same as Doctor Strange, married to his work. And I feel like that would put a lot of strain in a relationship, even though it's not unthinkable to be with somebody like him. You gotta really reevaluate what your limits and boundaries are. Star-Lord. Chris Pratt. I'm sorry, I mean, Peter Quill. Star-Lord's relationship with Love is messy. funny. He's a guy who doesn't know what he's doing a lot of the time. You can tell he's a little clueless, but he tries his best. He messes up, but learns from it. He cracks jokes to mask his insecurities. He's really devoted, even if it means risking his own heart. It happened with Gamora. We all saw it. He's a very impulsive person, a deeply emotional person. That said, his ego and reluctance to show his vulnerability often gets in the way. Although I feel like in a lot of the iterations of Star-Lord, he's more of like a confident, self-assured person, you know, on the outside and tries to remain positive. But he often seems to hide his feelings behind sarcasm, making it difficult for his partners to really understand where he stands. And I feel like a relationship with somebody that has to put up a front most of the time would take a lot of work to like tackle those walls, and it's got to be a bit of a handful. So really realistically, Peter Quill is great. He's a nice guy. It would take a lot of work to get in there. Star-Lord goes on A because he's just a little bit insecure. He's a little clumsy in relationships, but he means well. The Thing. Honestly, this is possibly one of the saddest ones that we're gonna cover thus far because the amount of heartbreaking things that we're about to list is insane. Okay, so Ben Grimm, despite being one of the toughest, strongest heroes in the Marvel Universe, he carries a deep loneliness that stems from his transformation into the Thing. Ben is a man who wants to be loved, but he constantly struggles with the idea that he might be unlovable, which is just so sad. And you would think that he would never be able to find love, but he actually does. At one point in the comics with a blind girl called Alicia Masters, which is just such a cop-out, honestly. Like, I'm not even gonna explain it. It's just so lazy, and I hate that choice. And we're all wondering, can this man do the do? Why are you looking at me like that? Well, listen, not in his actual form, but he gets a chance to do it once a year. According to this comic, at least. He gets to transform once a year back into his normal self and get it on, so, you know, he better last. But giving this man a chance, you know, there's always the physical aspect that a lot of people are not going to be really interested in and just repelled by, which just sucks because he's just such a great person. Giving this man a chance means that you'll be fulfilled because he tries so hard, actually. He's such a sweetie. He would be your rock. He would be emotionally supportive, like, very nicely. But because he has this insecurity, he would want to be reassured that he's enough just as he is, which, baby, I can do for you, of course, you know? And that might mean that he sometimes pushes people away before they have a chance to hurt him because he's convinced that that's what's going to happen anyway. He's got some walls, but who fucking doesn't? The Thing is just like a very sweet, caring, emotional person, like deep down a very deeply emotional person. So I feel like he'd be very emotionally fulfilling, although your butt would literally get fucked red if you know what I mean. But that's why you got that once a year deal. Iron Fist. So, Lin Lie, mind the pronunciation, is one of the new heroes of Marvel. He's very young, very fresh, and we just don't know as much as we like to about his personality, so we're gonna go strictly off of what we've seen in voice lines. He's very cocky, very self-assured, like a little annoying like his players. I know what I said, motherfuckers, but he's got a good attitude and he's not as traumatized. He sounds to be a little bit impulsive. I get the feeling that if something's bothering, he's just like, boom, like no fucking filter without thinking it through. He can be stubborn, a little reckless, but he's not the type of person I feel that would hide things from their partner. He would be very honest. He wants to be understood, even if he's still figuring out how to express himself, you know? So very deep. I'm not doubting that he could be a good partner, but you'd have to teach him a few things, and growing together is a really good thing, so. Iron Fist is very young, very, very new, very positive, a little cocky, but not as cocky as the Human Torch. So I feel like he goes on a solid A because we gotta give this young guy a chance. We gotta give this newbie a chance to prove himself in a way. And also, I haven't seen anything that's like screaming red flag at me, so he goes on A because I feel like he would be down to be in a relationship. Adam Warlock. Here's your answer. This version of Adam Warlock is so down to earth and fucking humble. He was made to just be the perfect human, and literally they came out with the most chill fucking person ever. I think that I really like Adam Warlock, and I feel like peering into the infinite void just taught him to like fucking chill the fuck out, and now he knows how to be the ultimate fucking alpha male. Being the perfect human and all. Look at him. Do you think that when they were creating the perfect human, they gave him a circumcised This guy is so in tune with himself and his internals that I would feel like he would actually be a very attentive partner. I'm not sure. I mean, he's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, but I'm not sure if you guys know about the types of attachment, but his just screams secure. Usually Adam Warlock is a bit more awkward socially in the comics, but here he's just so like heroic and sweet and supportive. So would he be a good boyfriend? I mean, from what I've seen, hell yeah. Like, goddamn, perfect human, perfect boyfriend. He's the perfect human being. Adam Warlock goes on A because I don't think he would be that opposed to being a boyfriend, even if he's, fixated on cosmic events and the fucking void or whatever. He would make sure to, be nice, be sweet, be there. I don't know. Maybe it's a stretch, but I don't know. Thor. So in this universe, Thor has lost the throne. He was exiled by Loki into a distant land. And as we know of Thor, he's a little bit of a partier. But this is an older Thor, a little bit more mature, a little more wise, which is a bit of a plus. We all know Thor to be more of an extrovert, which can be very overwhelming for some people and not without good reason. But this one is a little more responsible. He's not as reckless like he once was. This Thor has seen and lost too much. He doesn't boast as loudly either, I don't feel, but at his core, like, you can never kill a hype man. And you can see that in his game interactions. He would be very protective, respectful, and just sweet. Like, he's very supportive. There's not much more to say except that he might have a drinking problem from time to time, but what's stopping you from enjoying a beer with him? So, would he be a good boyfriend? I mean, get between those thunder thighs, baby girl. I really like the young at heart vibe, like kind of an older version of it. So, Thor goes on A in front of Adam Warlock because I just feel like he's also very chill. He's very nice. He's very positive. He would be a good force in your life. And also, you want to be the queen of Asgard or king? I don't know. Hawkeye. And all the Hanzo mains just rose. Clint is just a G. It's mentioned in the actual Marvel Rivals lore that he went through his Ronin phase and helped save Bucky at some point. So we know that he's a caring individual who looks out for his friends, and it's just wholesome. But all these characters have one thing in common, and that's trauma. Clint's life as a superhero can create friction in his relationships. His past as an orphan and his troubled childhood have made him more emotionally reserved and hesitant to fully open up. He's been through so much trauma and loss over the years that it's difficult for him to trust completely and openly again, so it leads him to push people away. We've seen some of his emotional connections with other people, but because of that loss, he's always sort of afraid, and he is a person who has achieved husband status in many of his iterations, so I think he would be a good and kind, caring person. He's a family man, given his all, but despite all of his things, he's not a bad thing in your life. He's only a good thing. Even with that trauma, he's incredibly protective and caring, but not in an overbearing way. He's the type of person who will quietly take care of things behind the scenes. He makes sure that his loved ones are safe and happy. And while he might not always express his emotions through words, his actions just speak volume. So, would he be a good boyfriend? Yeah, he would definitely snipe a man if he bothered you. So, this guy is just more pros than cons, and the cons are just life, dude. So, everybody from this lineup has their own fair share of baggage. Like, Jesus, everyone is up significantly. No one is safe except for Jeff. Hawkeye in the movies, he's a family man and he's very sweet, kind, considerate. He has his priorities really aligned, and I feel like talking from a point of view where he's not a super powered person, working among all of these people, so he's just a little bit more down to earth, like humble. That's a good quality to have and would be very connected with you. Mr. Fantastic. I mean, come on, come the fuck on. Listen. So this one, people, is in fact a catch. And I know what you're all thinking. This is the male equivalent of Elastigirl. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, yes, he is very gifted. Very, very gifted indeed in the art of expanding things. This man managed to marry the Invisible Woman, who is frankly a catch as well. So how did Reed Richards manage to get himself a girl like this? It was with his huge cock. It was with his huge and massive, enormous intellect. This motherfucker, by age 2, he was already solving complex mathematical equations. By age 14, he had multiple PhDs. This guy. Physics, engineering, biology, math. This guy can do it all. He's not just elastic all over, he's elastic in his brain too. So he manages to solve multiple problems at once. And with a brain like that, sorry to rip your fantasy apart, but Reed Richards tends to become rather logical. He even has had struggles with his wife. Yes, this wife, despite their love, Reed's obsession with science often leads to an emotional distance. So Sue sometimes has felt neglected because he would be focused on exploring dimensions rather than exploring their marriage. So would he be a good boyfriend? I mean, if you're not anxiously attached, sure. If you're secure and comfortable with being second place to a man like this, I mean, go ahead, because STEM is his first love and you would be second. Somehow he's managed to retain his status as a husband, even though his wife has left him a few times. So there's got to be something there. I mean, you get points for that, Reed. And don't yell at me, but I'm going to put Mr. Fantastic on A. And I'm putting him on A for one specific reason. And it's because, yes, he does have husband status, but yes, he is married to his work. So do you kind of see the similarity here? We've had problems in the marriage because of work. So it's crazy, but also it's fucking Mr. Fantastic and he's perfect. And we're making a little stretch here, but I think it's an adequate one. Spider-Man. Peter is just a G, dude. He's all green flags. We've seen Spider-Man be nothing but caring with his romantic partners. He often struggles with balancing the Spider-Man life and the partner life. We all know that he does have a desire for a more normal, stable personal life because when it comes to love, you know, Peter's heart is just always in the right place, but his constant self-sacrifice often puts a strain on his romantic relationship. His literal canon events are always traumatic, and he's out here. I mean, just look at him. He's just a little guy. Peter's greatest asset in a relationship is his loyalty. He's the kind of guy who would always be there when you need him, who would put his own needs second to yours. He's funny and sweet, but underneath the jokes, there's a guy who's very emotionally deep and very caring. He's just a catch, and I said it, a complete catch. Not a little insecure, but his desire to love is so great that it is often a plot point in most of his storylines and timelines, and I believe that speaks volumes about who he is as a person. He's a romantic. His problems in the relationships are not him or the other person. It's that having a Spider-Man life puts people in danger, and it's so sad to see it happen over and over again for him because you know he would do anything to protect you because he's a f***ing catch, motherfucker. He's a total catch. Peter Parker just warms my heart, like in every sense of the word. So, would he be a good boyfriend? Absolutely, yeah. Spider-Man just is so good. He is just checking all of the emotional boxes, needs, fulfillment, all of that, just checking them all off. But I think you guys can make it work if things were okay. Iron Man, playboy, billionaire, genius. What else can I say? You want this billionaire sugar daddy? Here you go. Tony Stark is your guy. But let's just not be shallow for 1 second because that isn't very nice. It's not about the money. Dating Tony Stark is essentially the 50 Shades of Grey plot without the red room and with a little bit more of a red suit. You know what I mean? That's gotta be someone's kink, I feel like. He's giving you that love you like you do. He lives life at full speed. He's always trying to help people. And if you're with it, you get to live and be a part of that too. Tony is quite literally one of the smartest men on the planet, and while he can be insufferable about it, he would be the type of man who loves a partner that can keep up or, you know, not tolerate shit. He wants someone who challenges him, someone who sees past the billionaire playboy facade and calls him out when he's being ridiculous. He's the type of guy that really likes the f***ing chase. It literally applies to everything in his life. Just think about that. So girly, like, or boy, he will be all over you. Crazy style, bro. You would be a really good boyfriend. I mean, he's extremely devoted from what we know about his relationship with Pepper. So let yourself be wined and dined. Be taken out. Get the world shown to you. I mean, a relationship for the ages, bitch. Tony's a catch. And if you can sass him back, you got him. This is hard. Iron Man goes on S tier because he's just like all around 10s. Drake! I don't know. It feels like the lavish life is something that calls a lot of people, but also he's a sweet guy who's very intelligent, who's very smart, and he also makes an effort to make you happy. He's left his playboy life behind, a man capable of many, many things, like a lot of flexibility there. So, Black Panther.
Wakanda forever.
First and foremost, cowboys are my greatest weakness. T'Challa is a complex and deeply introspective character, and when it comes to relationships, he's a mix of strength, responsibility, and emotional restraint. As the king of Wakanda, T'Challa's life is shaped by duty and the weight of his responsibilities, which can make it difficult for him to fully embrace romantic relationship. He carries the weight of being a leader and a protector of his people, and that often comes before any personal desires or emotional needs. His position requires him to put the welfare of Wakanda first, which creates a sense of emotional distance in his personal life. But you would be treated like a queen. Growing up in that kind of environment, that sort of fosters a different standard, right? A royal standard. I mean, he grew up seeing his mama be royal, revered, showered in every kind of luxury she could ever want. And you know that he'd want the same thing for you. Although you're not going to be everything in his life, his duty will come first, so you have to appreciate what you get. Actually, on second thought, this guy's kind of like a G on balancing priorities, because if running a country and protecting Wakanda are just second nature to him, wouldn't keeping a partner be a piece of cake? Part of being a king is having a queen, so would he be a good boyfriend? Oh my god, yes, like 100%. And you better marry this man up right now. I'm gonna put the king of Wakanda, T'Challa, on S tier. Listen, T'Challa, he can balance everything, and on top of that, you'd be a queen of the most beautiful country on. Dude, say no more. Steve Rogers. This man gives me Christian vibes all the time. Like, he is the most celibate man ever. He leaves you at the door on your first date with no kiss. He's respectful. He's a gentleman. And the thing I like about Cap is that he's a leader at work, but I feel like at home he'd be like a little bit more, you know, subdued. Like, I feel like Peggy's kind of got him tamed in both the MCUs and the comics. The girls who know, just take that as an example. Even though she had to move on, he never really did. And Steve's feelings for Peggy were always sort of his driving forces. And he often drew strength from the memory of their time together. And if that isn't a blueprint for how he will love you, then I don't know what is. Because on the surface, Steve is the kind of guy who seems like he's got it all together. He's reliable, loyal, and he can't stand to let someone down. That's just who he is. He's honorable, and when he says something, you better believe he means it 100%, like trustworthy. But I'm just like, oh, a super mega big boy here like that is shouldering a lot of responsibility. So there will be times where you're left standing in the background while he goes off to save the world again and again and again. He's always going to answer the call, even if it means being distant, even if it means leaving you wondering whether he'll be back or not. But I feel like he would let you know. It's just that, you know, Steve, he wants to fix things. He's a fixer. He wants to help the world. And that means that you sometimes get the short end of the stick. But honestly, like, if you can overcome that, it's like minuscule compared to the hombre you have right this delicioso, like, delicious man. He's devoted, kind, caring, point being good boyfriend. We're putting Captain America on S tier because he would give you that life, that love without the responsibility. So perfect, so beautiful. At the same time, you've got like a hardworking ass man who would retire for you. It's so romantic. Like, he already has the world on his shoulders, but he still takes time to look back upon you fondly and use you as like a point of reference. I really was in between T'Challa and Steve Rogers, but Steve Rogers just seems to be able to give you that home life where he can be like, honey, go pursue the life that you want. I'll just be here. I'll do whatever. You know, we can both be together. It will be beautiful. And just like solid relationship, dude. And we're done. I'm so tired. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. This one took a lot longer to make than the other ones. I'm kind of underwhelmed though, because most of these people are heroes, which means that they've got some higher calling of duty and they've got their shit together, and most of them are normal ass people. So like, damn. Like, I wish there was something a little bit more spicy, more like disgusting in here that I could like really like get into, but alas, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'm on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. You already know for more of this degeneracy. So thank you so much for being here, and take it easy, guys. Big hugs, big loves. Bye-bye.